Bank property.
I was thinking, the phone call was basically,
Somebody gets back. Bank property.
Because when you do something.
That's usually right. I mean, they got law backs on them. Back on 7 years. They for I Hey, versus having to pay taxes, so the guy 12% and we don't really look at it. First, you orange people, that's all that. It's been no. They know that. Somebody saying. Yeah. Yeah, but I'll do those when you got it. They were trains. Why? That's a. I think we don't do it. Can't get a bunch of folks in, but it goes. I'm pretty clear. Well, they look for I'll walk in. If that's, you know. You don't know what it's gonna get into. It actually. I'm sure. I mean, but we can't assume. Right. That's got it. Yeah. I still great. All right, we're gonna go ahead and kick off our work session tonight.
Number one, Ms. Chelsea Lawson from Kramer Children's Center. Come on down.
All right. Your voice sounds like that.
There's a reason.
Thank y'all for having me tonight. On behalf of Kramer Children's Advocacy Center, I want to thank the city of Sheffield for your continued support of children and families in our community. Your partnership helped ensure the children who have experienced abuse, neglect, or trauma receive the services and support they need to begin healing. And we are grateful for your investment in this important work. As a nationally accredited children's advocacy center serving Colbert, Lauderdale, Franklin, and Lawrence counties, Kramer CAC provides forensic interviews, medical exams, trauma-focused therapy, victim advocacy, and multidisciplinary team coordination for children who have experienced abuse, neglect, or witnessed violence. All services are provided free of charge to children and families. Last year, we provided services to 46 children residing in the city of Sheffield. To date, this year, we have already served 24 children residing in Sheffield, demonstrating the continued need for these services within the city. The impact of child abuse extends far beyond the children and families directly affected, and according to a 2023 report released by the Alabama Children's Trust Fund and researchers at the University of Alabama, child maltreatment costs our state more than $8 billion annually. That's with a B, with an estimated lifetime cost of $871,979 per first-time victim. Lost productivity alone accounts for more than $6.4 billion of that burden statewide. These numbers are a reminder that childhood trauma impacts far more than a child's immediate safety and well-being. It affects long-term health outcomes, educational attainment, workforce participation, and economic stability for generations. Investments in prevention, early intervention, and trauma-informed care through children's advocacy centers not only help children heal today, but also strengthen communities for the future. Because of continued reductions in the Federal Victims of Crime Act funding and the growing demand for services, local partnerships remain more important than ever. Support from municipalities like Sheffield helps ensure the children and families can continue receiving the care, advocacy, and healing services they need during some of the most difficult times in their lives. Included with this request is our 6-month report that you can see here, highlighting the impact of your support across our service area. We hope it offers a close look at the children and families being served through the work and the difference your local investment continues to make. With the gratitude for your continued partnership, we respectfully request that the city of Sheffield consider increasing its annual support from $1,500 annually to $3,000 for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. This investment will help ensure the children in Sheffield continue to have access to critical services when they need them most. Thank you for your consideration and your ongoing commitment for the children and families of Sheffield. If you guys ever want to come for our center, our home base is in downtown Florence, and we also have a location in Russellville downtown. We'd love to host y'all for a tour and show y'all what we do on site. Do y'all have any questions about Kramer and our request?
So Chelsea, is this across the board as far as the increase funding? We are all.
We are just a little bit. So we have. I can show you what levels each of the cities and the commissions pay, but going up to 3,000 is actually on the quite lower end of what the other cities does. For instance, Russellville provides 12,500 per year.
Okay.
So that's just
so it's not really necessarily based on population.
And no, and not based on the number of children served. It's just what the city and commissions are willing and able to provide to help the children. Okay. So, yes. Thank y'all so much for your time and your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea. All right, number 2. Here for Sheffield Center of the Shoals Strategic Communications Platform. So tonight, I'm asking for the approval and adoption of a new civic communications platform for the city of Sheffield and our public-facing institutional partners. Here for Sheffield, center of the Shoals. So to be very clear, the outset about what it is and what it's not. It's not simply a slogan. It's not a political campaign. It's not a tourism campaign. It's not a vanity project. And it's not an effort to replace the identity of any department, board, authority, or partner institution. It's a practical communications platform designed to solve a real problem that Sheffield has lived with for a long time. Our public communication has been fragmented, inconsistent, and too often reactive. Residents do not always know where to look for reliable information. Departments and public institutions are often communicating separately, using different styles, different standards, different channels, and different levels of consistency. And that causes confusion. It weakens public trust. It makes progress harder to see, and it makes city government look less coordinated than it should. And it makes Sheffield's story easier for others to define for us. The purpose of Here for Sheffield, Center of the Shoals, is to create a shared civic communication standard for Sheffield, one that is coordinated, professional, steady, and public facing. Now, at the center of this platform will be centeroftheshoals.com, a unified hub where residents, families, businesses, and community partners can find key information, public updates, city progress, institutional news, and civic resources all in one place. This does not eliminate individual department pages or existing communication channels. Police, fire, utilities, schools, park and rec, and housing authority and the library and other partners will still have their own missions, their own responsibilities, and their own identities. But this platform gives us a common front door. It gives Sheffield a shared editorial standard. It gives us a more disciplined way to communicate with the public. And it allows the city and its public partners to speak with greater consistency about the work being done here. So the name matters. Here for Sheffield speaks to service. It says we are present, accountable, and focused on the people of this city. And Center of the Shoals speaks to Sheffield's rightful position in this region, geographically, historically, culturally, and economically. Sheffield is not a side note in the Shoals. Sheffield is central to the Shoals story. But we have to act like it. We have to communicate like it. And we have to present ourselves like a city that knows who it is, where it's going, and why it matters. This platform directly supports the larger transformation already underway through Sheffield 365, our commitment to being clean, fair, accountable, and modern. And Sheffield 365 is about raising the physical and operational standard of the city. Here for Sheffield is about raising the communications and public trust standard of the city. Those two things have to move together. Clean up corridors, modernize systems, improve public works, support our schools, strengthen public safety, build better public-facing tools, and pursue serious economic development. But we fail to communicate that work clearly and consistently, then we leave trust on the table. Residents need to see the work. They need to understand the work. They need to know where to find accurate information, and they need to feel that their city is operating with purpose. This platform also gives us a better way to tell the full Sheffield story. Not just one department, not just one event, not just one project, but the whole ecosystem: city services, schools, utilities, public safety, parks, library, housing, community events, infrastructure, development, and the quality of life work that affects people every day. That matters because Sheffield is entering a period where multiple major efforts are converging at the same time. Sheffield 365, downtown cleanup, new equipment, public works restructuring, school facility improvements, website modernization, infrastructure projects, public safety improvements, and new economic development conversations. We need a communication structure equal to the work. A city that is modernizing cannot communicate like it is still operating 20 years behind. This platform is how we begin correcting that. And it gives us structure, it gives us standards, it gives us a public-facing hub, And it gives our institutions a way to coordinate without losing their individual missions. And it gives residents a clearer window into the work being done on their behalf. I also want to stress that this should be adopted as a platform, not as a one-time announcement. The value of this will not come from launching a website or approving a name. The value will come from disciplined use over time. So the formula is simple: consistent output, clear standards, reliable information, visible progress, institutional steadiness. That's how trust is built, not overnight, not through hype, but through repeated proof. The request tonight is for the council to approve and adopt here from Sheffield Center of the Shoals as the city's official civic communications platform, and to authorize the administration, the mayor, to proceed with implementation, partner coordination, public facing rollout, and continued development of centeroftheshoals.com as the platform hub. This does not bind the city to a large new expenditure tonight. It does not create a new department. It does not take authority away from the council, and it does not obligate partner institutions beyond their own willingness to participate. What it does is give us permission to move forward with a coordinated standard, professionally, deliberately, and in the open. For too long, Sheffield has allowed its image to be shaped by decline, frustration, and fragmented communication. That is changing. We are doing the work. Now we need to communicate the work with the same discipline. I believe this platform is necessary, timely, and fully aligned with where the city is going, and I respectfully ask for the council's approval and adoption of here for Sheffield Center of the Shoals. Like that.
So Mayor, so is anyone, you haven't approached the other entities yet, the other 7?
No, that's
Okay.
what, so
It's just giving you permission, this is what we're going with, and
Yes.
we approach them.
And because the city would be the basically the founding hub of the entire process, and the other entities are us, the city, Sheffield Utilities, Sheffield Police, Sheffield Fire, Sheffield Housing Authority, Sheffield City Schools, Park and Rec, and Public Library and Sheffield Housing Authority. Right. Yeah. And then supporting documentation and the everything that goes along with that is included in that. And this is meant to be all of that is published. The branding guidelines, the operations manual, including verbatim AI prompts for all of the automation. And everything is printed out as a living document in the event. So it'll live long past my time in office or my untimely demise if that ever happens.
What kind of timeline are we looking at? If we were to approve this and you get the ball rolling and reaching out to the other entities, when would we possibly have this?
Depending on theirs, it would be a 90-day window.
Right. Would this also include 311?
That's separate.
Separate, okay.
Any other questions? Yeah. Moving on. Shoals Gateway Development Corridor. So it's a major economic development framework for the city of Sheffield, and it's called Shoals Gateway Development Corridor. It's an initiative focused on the strategic development of Sheffield's highway corridor, TVA reservation property, and surrounding commercial and industrial opportunity areas. I want to begin by being very clear about what it is and what it's not. It's not a single project. It's not one parcel. It's not one developer. It's not one retail store, one hotel, one restaurant, or one announcement. It's not a promise that any specific company is coming, and it's not an effort to compete destructively with our neighboring cities. The Shoals Gateway Development Corridor is a long-term economic development strategy designed to position Sheffield to compete for investment, development, jobs, lodging, retail, commercial activity, and regional partnerships. For too long, Sheffield has had assets that were obvious to us but not organized, packaged, or presented in a way that made them easy for investors, developers, site selectors, and regional partners to understand. We have highway access, we have TBA reservation land, we have available frontage, we have proximity to Muscle Shoals, Tuscumbia, Florence, the Tennessee River, the airport, the Natchez Trace, downtown Sheffield, and major regional employers. We have public utilities, we have developable property, we have regional traffic, we have institutional assets, and we have a city that is now beginning to clean up, modernize, and present itself with a higher standard. The problem is not that Sheffield lacks opportunity. The problem is that Sheffield has not always organized that opportunity into a coherent development strategy. That is what the Shoals Gateway Development Corridor is intended to do. It gives us a defined framework. It gives us a name. It gives us geography. It gives us a planning structure, and it gives us a recruitment strategy. And it gives us a serious way to talk to developers, retailers, hotel groups, industrial prospects, public agencies, bond professionals, regional partners, and state and federal officials. This corridor should be understood as one of Sheffield's most important long-term economic development assets. It includes, generally speaking, the U.S. Highway 4372 corridor, TBA reservation-related development areas, Inspiration Landing, nearby commercial frontage, and other properties that can support retail, hospitality, office, light industrial, institutional, recreational, and mixed-use development. Some pieces may move quickly. Some pieces may take years. Some pieces will require private investment, and some will require infrastructure planning. Some may require public-private partnership. Some may require road access improvements, site readiness work, environmental review, utility coordination, incentive analysis, or regional cooperation. That's exactly why we need a formal framework. Without a framework, every opportunity is treated as isolated. With a framework, every opportunity becomes part of a larger development story. The Shoals Gateway Development Corridor allows Sheffield to stop reacting parcel by parcel and begin acting strategically. This matters because economic development is not just about waiting for someone to call City Hall. It's about preparation. It's about packaging. It's about knowing what we have. It's about knowing what we need. And it's about knowing what type of development fits where. It's about knowing what public tools are available. It's about understanding infrastructure, traffic, utilities, incentives, site control, zoning, financing, and market demand. And it's about being ready when the right opportunity appears. The goal is not to chase anything and everything. The goal is to pursue development that strengthens Sheffield's tax base, expands opportunity, improves quality of life, supports our schools and public services, and makes the city more competitive for the future. That could include regional retail. It could include hospitality. It could include a stronger hotel and conference presence south of the river. It could include restaurants, could include office, institutional development. It could include light industrial or innovation-based development. It could include commercial projects that support visitors, residents, employers in the broader Shoals region. But the standard has to be serious. We should not approach this as a wish list economic development. We should approach it as an investment-grade economic development. That means facts first, data first, site readiness first, financial discipline first, public benefit first, and no promises we cannot defend. This is especially important because Sheffield has several efforts converging at once. Sheffield 365 is raising the standard of the city's appearance and operation. Here for Sheffield, Center of the Shoals would raise the standard of our public communications and civic identity. and Shoals Gateway Development Corridor raises the standard of our economic development posture. Together, these efforts tell one larger story. Sheffield is no longer waiting to be discovered. Sheffield is organizing itself to compete. The corridor also gives us a better way to work with outside partners. If we are speaking with a developer, we need to be able to show them more than one parcel. If we're speaking with a retailer, we need to be able to discuss trade area, access, traffic, demographics, and site options. If we're speaking with a hotel group, we need to be able to explain regional lodging gap and the opportunities south of the river. If we're speaking with state or federal officials, we need to be able to explain what infrastructure would unlock private investment. If we are speaking with TVA, ALDOT, NACOG, CETA, Colbert County, or neighboring municipalities, we need to be able to present Sheffield's priorities clearly and professionally. That is what this framework allows us to do. I also want to be clear about the public finance side of this. Adopting this framework does not mean the city is committing to spend money on any specific project tonight. It does not mean we are approving incentives tonight. It does not mean we are approving debt tonight. And it does not mean we are selecting a developer tonight. It does not mean we're committing public resources without future council action. Any future project requiring city funding, incentives, land action, bond participation, infrastructure commitment, or formal agreement would come back before this council in the appropriate manner. Tonight is about authorization to proceed with strategic planning, partner engagement, site packaging, project development, recruitment, preparation, and public positioning. In plain terms, we're giving ourselves permission to get organized and go compete. That includes developing a professional corridor plan, identifying priority sites, documenting infrastructure needs, preparing development materials, engaging regional and state partners, evaluating public finance tools, and recruiting appropriate private investment. This is the work cities have to do if they want to be taken seriously. The private sector does not invest because the city hopes something will happen. The private sector invests when a city is prepared, credible, responsive, and organized. Shoals Gateway Development Corridor is how Sheffield begins operating at that level. This is not about hype. It's about readiness. It's about discipline. It's about turning scattered opportunity into a coherent strategy. It's about making sure that when Sheffield sits across the table from investors, developers, agencies, or regional partners, we're not improvising. We're prepared. We know our assets. We know our gaps. We know our priorities. And we know what kind of development we're trying to attract. The request tonight is for the council to approve and adopt Shoals Gateway Development Corridor as a formal economic development planning and recruiting framework for the city of Sheffield, and to authorize the administration and the mayor to proceed with planning, partner coordination, site analysis, development packaging, recruitment preparation, and related implementation steps. Again, any future binding financial commitment, land transactions, incentive agreements, bond structures, or development agreements would return to this council for proper consideration. But tonight, we need to take the first formal step. Sheffield has spent too many years with tremendous assets and no unified strategy for presenting. That changes now. Shoals Development, the Gateway Development Corridor is a serious, practical, long-term framework for growth. It gives Sheffield a way to compete. It gives us a way to recruit. It gives us a way to organize our land and infrastructure priorities. And it gives us a way to speak with one voice about one of the most important development opportunities in this city's future. Any questions?
Take a breath.
Excellent.
Any questions?
So yeah, is this all depending? I understand. So tonight we're basically just saying, yeah, we've authorized you to go approach Mayor Hudson.
Yes.
But if they're not interested, does that kind of kill this idea of this project?
No.
Okay.
It's a deal you can't refuse.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I understand. You never know. Most Shoals, you never know. Yeah, that'll work.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's an unknown as far as partnership goes, but it's something that, the need still exists, whether they agree with it. Moving on to number 4, Sheffield Beauty Career. So Sheffield's main corridors are the city's front door. The first and most repeated impression for residents or visitors or anyone weighing whether to invest here. Today, corridor upkeep is handled in whatever time our street department can spare between its core responsibilities. That makes the results uneven by nature. Stretches go too long between attention, and seasonal plantings and litter control slip during the busy months. And the overall look does not consistently match the standard the city is holding itself to elsewhere. Put simply, no one currently owns the appearance of our corridor as their actual job. What is proposed here is a dedicated Sheffield beauty crew within the street department. Ultimately, a 2-person operation whose sole responsibility will be the appearance and upkeep of the main corridors, operation of the beast rig, and handling landscaping, flowers, mowing, trimming, and roadside maintenance. The city would create and fill the first position now, with a second position to follow as needs and budget allow. And so why a dedicated crew rather than the status quo is consistency. Scheduled, predictable upkeep on a set rhythm instead of a catch-can attention. Accountability, a named owner responsible for how the corridors look week in and week out. Capacity, it frees the rest of the street department to concentrate on roads, drainage, core infrastructure instead of splitting focus. The cost logic is force multiplied. The first hire will also supervise our Alabama Department of Corrections inmate labor force on the city's road cleanup program. One supervised crew leader directing inmate labor extends the city's reach well beyond a single employee at a fraction of the cost or equivalent staff. The position sits at the base starting rate within the street department and will initially report to the mayor. Alignment with our Sheffield's 365, the beauty crew is the operational backbone of the clean pillar. It turns a stated priority into a standing accountable function rather than a periodic cleanup push that fades when attention moves elsewhere. So I'm asking to create the Sheffield beauty crew within the street department and authorize the mayor to develop the job description and pay structure for the first position and to advertise and post it for hire. The recommended hire returns to the council for approval before any appointment is made. Any questions about that?
Will this be posted in-house or it going out? That's what I mean, is it gonna be?
Well, it's, of course, the position's available to anyone in-house as well as at large.
With the first position, I think they're going to report to you. So will you be in charge of their scheduling week in, week out?
It'll be full-time scheduling. You mean as far
Like
as their
where they're going this day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Or that would come under the purview of any part-time public works if we ever decide to go that route. Okay. Gotcha. Yes. Moving on. Huh?
Starting in the labor position, or are you going to change that?
No, it'd be the lowest. It'd be a starting pay rate. Yeah.
I hate to be the one that is it there for us to do it? I see it, but I mean, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about a deficit. Now and I'm just wondering, is it there?
You sat through the same sessions we did. You could answer that question as well as anybody.
I mean, not there.
Well, is it? I mean, is it not?
The sharpest telling the sheriff when it comes to money. No, no, not over where. Y'all done the numbers, I'm sure.
Perhaps the state of the city will answer that question. You have that as work session number 6.
It'll go some ways into doing that.
Okay.
Moving on to number 5 is the Sheffield Industrial Revenue Bond Board. So tonight, in addition to everything else, asking this council to consider authorizing the creation of a Sheffield Industrial Revenue Bond Board. And so, like with everything else, we'll explain plainly what it is and what it's not. This is not the city borrowing money. This is not the city pledging its tax revenue. This is not the city guaranteeing private debt. This is not the city writing a check to a private company, and it's not approval of any specific bond transactions tonight. An industrial revenue bond board is a public economic development tool. Its purpose is to give the city a formal mechanism to assist qualified private development projects when those projects serve a legitimate public purpose, such as job creation, capital investment, industrial expansion, business retention, or regional economic growth. In practical terms, this gives Sheffield another tool in the toolbox that allows the city to participate in certain economic development opportunities that might otherwise go somewhere else, be structured through another jurisdiction, or never happen at all. For too long, Sheffield has not had enough formal economic development tools available to compete at the level we need to compete. We have talked about growth, talked about investment, we've talked about expanding the tax base, but if we're serious, we have to build the actual mechanisms that allow us to participate in those opportunities professionally and legally. The proposed Industrial Revenue Bond Board is one of those mechanisms. The purpose of creating the board is not to approve every project that comes along. It's not to rubber stamp private requests. It's not to expose the city to unnecessary risk. The purpose is to create a structured, lawful process for evaluating and potentially supporting qualified projects on a case-by-case basis. Any future project would still have to be reviewed. Any future bond issue would still require proper legal work, and any future agreement would still require due diligence. Any future structure would still have to protect the city's interests. And any future council action required by law or by the structure of a particular transaction would still come back before this body. This is about readiness. If a company is considering a major investment, expansion, relocation, or facility project, time matters, structure matters, credibility matters, and the city needs to be able to sit at the table with bond counsel, financial professionals, companies, developers, and regional partners with the right tools already in place. If we wait until an opportunity is fully formed before we begin creating the tool, we may already be too late. Creating this board allows Sheffield to be more prepared, it allows us to be more competitive, it allows us to explore projects that could generate new investment, new jobs, new fee revenue, expanded economic activity, and long-term public benefit. It also allows Sheffield to participate in economic development opportunities that may not be physically located inside the current city limits, depending on the legal structure, project facts, and statutory authority. That is important because economic development does not always follow municipal boundary lines neatly. Regional growth often occurs in complicated places, property lines, city limits, utility service areas, industrial sites, and development opportunities do not always align perfectly. A city that is prepared can sometimes participate where an unprepared city cannot. That is why this board matters. I also want to be clear about risk. The city should not enter any transaction casually. The city should not use this tool without professional legal guidance. The city should not accept unnecessary exposure. The city should not prove anything that public, and the city should not confuse activity with progress. The standard should be simple. If a proposed transaction does not produce a defensible public benefit, does not protect the city, or does not withstand scrutiny, we should not do it. But creating the board itself is not the risky step. The risky thing would be continuing to operate without the tools necessary to compete for serious investment. The board gives us the structure before the opportunity. It gives us a legal vehicle before the transaction. It gives us process before the pressure, and it gives Sheffield another way to act strategically instead of reactively. It also fits directly with the larger direction of the city, Sheffield 365, raising our fiscal and operational standard. Here for Sheffield Center of the Shoals, raising our communications and public trust standard. And the Shoals Gateway Development Corridor, and raising our economic development planning standard. And the Sheffield Industrial Revenue Bond Board would raise our public finance and project implementation standard. These are not disconnected efforts. They are pieces of the same larger shift. Sheffield is becoming more organized, more professional, more competitive, and more serious about its future. The request tonight is not to approve a bond issue. The request tonight is to authorize the creation of the board so Sheffield has the ability to evaluate, pursue qualifying economic development opportunities through the proper legal and financial channels. If approved, next step would include working with qualified bond counsel, preparing the necessary and organizational documents, appointing board members in accordance with applicable law, establishing procedures, and ensuring that any future project is reviewed carefully before action is taken. This is a conservative, practical step. It does not obligate the city to a specific project tonight. It does not require us to say yes to any future proposal. It simply gives Sheffield the ability to be ready, and readiness matters. When opportunities come, the cities that are prepared move. The cities that are not prepared watch somebody else move. I don't want Sheffield to be the city watching from the sidelines. I want Sheffield to have the tools, the structure, and the discipline to compete. Those reasons, I'm asking council to authorize the creation of Sheffield Industrial Revenue Bond Board. Any questions? All right. So we got state of the city. I'm going to give a brief state of the city update. I'll try to keep it simple. Sheffield is moving. We're not where we need to be yet. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend that every problem has been solved. We still have a lot of hard work ahead of us, and we still have streets, properties, systems, operations, and longstanding issues that need our attention. But I can say this clearly and honestly, the pieces are coming together. Over the past several months, we've been building the framework for a more organized, a more disciplined, and more forward-looking Sheffield. And that work has not always been flashy. Some of it has been planning, some of it has been paperwork, some of it has been finance, and some of it has been equipment, and some of it has been staffing, some of it's been working through state processes, regional partners, and internal city operations. But now we are beginning to see all of those pieces converge. This past week, we took delivery of the Beast Rig. We completed training. We're preparing operational manuals, procedures, and safety standards so that this equipment is not just used, but used properly, consistently, and professionally. This is an exceptional tool for the city of Sheffield. It gives us the ability to clean our sidewalks, curbs, gutters, crosswalks, public spaces, in highly visible areas at a level this city has never been able to do before. And I want to be clear, this is not about making one spot look good for a picture. It's about raising the standard, and it's about showing residents, business owners, visitors, and investors that Sheffield is serious about the condition of its public spaces. This week, we're moving forward with the ADOC, Alabama Department of Corrections Inmate Work Program, I'll be attending a state inmate supervision orientation indicator on Wednesday. And while there, we expect to finalize the remaining contract steps. And that matters because the beast rig is only one piece. The cleanup program requires manpower supervision, scheduling, safety standards, transportation, and operational discipline. We are also expecting delivery of a NACOG donated bus this week. We're working towards securing a driver. That may not sound exciting to everyone, but it's a major operational piece because without transportation, the inmate program cannot function at the level we need. With transportation, supervision, equipment, and a structured plan, Sheffield 365 gets back on track in a very real way. This is the difference between talking about cleanup and actually building the systems to do it. That's what Sheffield 365 is about. It's clear, fair, accountable, modern. Those are not just words. They're the standard we're trying to build into city operations. Clean means we take the condition of our streets, corridors, sidewalks, public spaces, and neighborhoods very seriously. Fair means we raise the standard citywide, not just in one area. And accountable means we build systems, procedures, and expectations that can actually be followed. Modern means we stop accepting outdated, fragmented ways of operating when better options are available. And what encourages me tonight is that Sheffield 365 is no longer a concept on paper. The equipment is here. The training has begun. The workforce program is moving. Transportation piece is coming into place. Procedures are being written, and the city is preparing to execute. We are also modernizing how citizens will interact with City Hall. 311 Sheffield, our resident issue tracker, is completed and scheduled to roll out alongside the new city website, sheffieldalabama.gov, within the next 30 to 45 days. That's a major step toward accountability. Residents need a clear, simple way to report issues, track concerns, and know that city government is receiving and managing those requests. A modern city cannot rely on scattered phone calls, Facebook comments, handwritten notes, or word of mouth. 311 Sheffield gives us a more organized way to receive, track, and respond to resident concerns. That is Sheffield 365 in action. It's not just cleaning, it's not just equipment, systems, standards, accountability, and importantly, this standard is not limited to City Hall. Sheffield City Schools has also bought into the Sheffield 365 framework in a very real way. The school system has secured a $10 million bond and is already in phase one of major improvements, including stadium renovations, new parking, new facilities, and upgrades to windows, doors, floors, and bathrooms across our schools. That matters because our schools are the most visible and important reflections of this city. When the school system is investing in its campuses, the city is preparing a 2027 paving project that includes the roads leading to and around our three school campus complex. That's a lot. Sheffield 365 moving beyond words and into coordinated action. At the same time, we're moving forward, hoping to move forward with Here for Sheffield, Center of the Shoals, our civic communications platform. That platform is about making sure the public can see and understand and trust the work being done. If we're going to raise the standard physically and operationally, we also have to raise the standard in how we communicate. Residents deserve clear information. Departments need consistency. Public institutions need better coordination. And Sheffield needs to tell its own story with discipline and confidence. We're also beginning to organize the Shoals Gateway Development Corridor as a serious economic development framework. Again, this is not about making wild promises. It's not about one specific store, hotel, or project is guaranteed. It's about recognizing that Sheffield has real assets: highway frontage, TBA reservation property, access, utilities, regional location, and development potential. And we need to organize those assets professionally if we want to compete. Economic development does not happen just because we hope for it. It happens when a city is prepared. It happens when the city knows its sites, its infrastructure, its partners, its financing tools, and its priorities. That is the work we are beginning. Tonight, we're also have discussed the creation of the Sheffield Industrial Revenue Bond Board. That's another tool. Doesn't commit the city to debt, does not approve a specific project. It simply gives Sheffield another lawful economic development mechanism so that we are not standing empty-handed when serious opportunities arise. All of these pieces are connected. Sheffield 365 raises the physical and operational standard. 311 Sheffield raises the resident service and accountability standard. The new city website raises the digital access standard. Sheffield City Schools is raising the campus and student experience standard. Here for Sheffield, we'll raise the communications trust standard. The Shoals Gateway Development Corridor raises the economic development standard. And the Industrial Revenue Bond Board raises the public finance and project readiness standard. Together, they represent a city that is getting organized, and that is the real state of the city tonight. We're getting organized, and organization matters. For too long, Sheffield has had talent, history, location, infrastructure, and potential, but not enough structure. We're now building that structure. I also want to report that our financial position is looking good. We are being careful. We are watching the numbers. We're not treating every idea as something we can immediately afford, but we are in a position where we can plan, move, and make strategic decisions. And that matters. Optimism without financial discipline is dangerous, but financial discipline without vision just keeps the city standing still. Our job is to do both. Protect the city's finances and move Sheffield forward. That is what we're trying to do. And I'm excited about where we are. I'm guarded because I know how much work is still ahead, but I'm confident because the work is no longer theoretical. The tools are arriving, the programs are being built, the partners are at the table, the finances are steady, the schools are investing, and the digital tools are ready, and the standards are being raised. And the direction is becoming clear. I want our residents to understand that the next few months matter. You're going to begin seeing more visible progress. You're going to see more activity. And you're going to see Sheffield 365 come to life in a much more tangible way. You're going to see a new website. You're going to see 311 Sheffield, and you're going to see better tools for communication and accountability. It will not happen overnight, and it certainly will not be perfect. There will be adjustments to be made. There will be lessons learned. There will be problems that we have to solve along the way, but the direction is right. The momentum is real, and the commitment is serious. This is a new season for the city of Sheffield, not because we say it is, not because of a slogan, and not because of one piece of equipment, but because we are putting systems in place to prove it. We're raising the standard, we're organizing the work, and we're preparing for investment, we're modernizing our communications, and we're improving operations, and we're aligning with our schools, and we're giving residents a better way to interact with City Hall. We're putting Sheffield in a better position to compete for its future. That's the state of the city tonight. We still have work to do, but Sheffield's moving, but we're moving in the right direction. That's 6 months. I know we've been here for 7 months, but I missed a month, so this is 6 months. I won't do that every 6 months. Don't have to miss another month. Reviewing tonight's agenda, we have a proclamation for the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution for 2026. Declare a vacancy in the fire department. Consider employment for Kashina Lisa Gill, I call her Kay, I think everybody calls her Kay. Kay Gill, as a police officer in the police department. Consider employment for Ronald Brigham as a police officer in the police department. Consider approval for a donation in the amount of,
So these next two are from our last council meeting, and I believe Colbert County Animal Control, he was asking for 500. Is that correct? Do y'all remember?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody have an issue with that?
okay.
All right, so 500.
And then consider for the donation of Muscle Shoals meets the 90s event.
Yeah, and again, this is a refresher as well. So they're having an event in, is it August, July? Do y'all remember? I think it's August. Packet. In downtown, there's a lot of artists playing. One of them, I think the crescendo of it is Shenandoah is playing downtown. The money raised from that concert and that event will go toward 2 elementary playgrounds that are handicap accessible. They were looking for $4,000, and Brian, you know, we talked before, and I was thinking council might be able to put together two grand.
Split the
cost.
difference with,
Yeah.
And one of those playgrounds is at Ellingwood.
Yes, thank you.
It's a handicap accessible addition to the brand new playground that they just got.
And this would come from the account, the 20,000, but we're down to about 15. Is that correct, Megan?
Oh, 14.
14. Okay, gotcha.
Exactly 14. Well, it's, before the other with the animal control, it's $14,053.
Would consider the approval of reimbursement in the amount of $36.98 to Janice Reichert for flowers and soil for planters at City Hall. Consider the approval for reimbursement in the amount of $2,292.21 to Timothy Howell for mileage and training with the Alabama Association of School Resource Officers. Consider the approval of reimbursement in the amount of $1,745.93 to Thomas Bates for mileage and training with the Alabama Association of School Resource Officers. Consider approval in the expenses in the amount of $2,900 for the fee Eversol MS4 General Annual Report.
Can I hop in on that one, Lisa? So is that, I mean, do we normally account for that? Yeah.
Sorry, 8 down on
It's
it.
the annual report that we have to do annually.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we're contracted.
So we're not really considering it. We're doing it. We're paying. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Yeah. We'll just say we're considering it. There you go. Gotcha.
Consider approval of expenses in the amount of $1,250.25 for a Junkin Safety RSA 2000 plastic splint stretcher for the fire department. Consider adoption of the Here for Sheffield Center of the Shoals Strategic Communications Platform as the city's coalition of communications platform and authorization for the mayor to approach the remaining 7 entities. Consider approval for the mayor to approach the city of Muscle Shoals regarding Shoals Gateway Development Corridor, and consider creation of the Sheffield Beauty Crew within the street department and authorization for the mayor to develop the job description. The pay structure has already been developed, base rate pay, and to advertise and post for the first position. Consider authorization of the mayor to build out and create the Sheffield Industrial Revenue Bond Board, and consider approval of expenses in the amount of $2,170 for a fan hub for truck number 160 in the street department. And consider approval of reimbursement in the amount of $9.99 to Evalu Richardson for DreamHost for the Sheffield Library. And also something that came up that is actually has a July 1st deadline, which will be prior to our next city council meeting after the 4th. It is for the Times Daily's publication on July 1st for the 250 years proud to be an American advertising. That we are, I guess we normally split with the utilities on something like this. Half page, quarter page. I think full page is out of the question, but half page is $805. Split with half is $402.50. So we would add that to the.
So Megan, if my math is right, we're looking at around still 11,000. We make those 3 donations in that fund. Looks like about $2,900.
Yeah.
Okay, about 11,000. Okay.
All right. With that, we'll call tonight's regular meeting to order. You guys will join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Dear God, we come to you tonight, as always, with hearts full of gratitude. Thank you for the many blessings that you give us in our lives, and the blessings that you give us in the city. God, I pray that we view these, what someone might call problems, that we view these as opportunities, that we approach them with bright eyes, without fear, and looking at it as an opportunity to work together as a city, as a people, to solve these challenges. God, it's through our hope in you that we can give hope to others, and believe in a hope in a future. Be with us tonight in our discussion. Guide us in our discussion. And as always, pray that each day that we learn a little bit more how to love each other the way that you love us. In your name I pray. Amen.
A proclamation offered by the National Society. I'm sorry. Oh, my goodness. I am getting it. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. I have a motion for approval of the minutes from our council meeting June 1st, 2026.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Now, we have a proclamation offered by the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution. Whereas on July 4th, 2026, our nation will commemorate the semi-quincentennial anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And whereas the journey towards this historic milestone is an opportunity to reflect on our nation's past, honor the contributions of all Americans, and look ahead to the future generations who will carry forward the ideals of democracy and individual liberty that make the United States a unique nation in the world community. And whereas the great state of Alabama played a role in the American Revolution with the Battle of Fort Charlotte, also known as the Siege of Mobile in 1780, that saw Spanish forces successfully seize the fort from the British. And whereas the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution, DAR, is a non-political women's service organization established in 1890, whose members are lineally descended from patriots of the American Revolution. And whereas through the President General's leadership over the next 3 years, all daughters will illuminate our legacy through commemorating the 250th anniversary of the United States of America with intention and purpose by reflecting on the values of liberty, democracy, and the sacrifices made by those who came before us. And whereas from the 250th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party in 2023 until the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Treaty of Paris in 2033, daughters are celebrating our nation's rich history and diversity of experience by honoring all men and women who achieved American independence. These patriots, believing in the noble cause of liberty, fought valiantly to establish a new nation. And whereas the Alabama Daughters of the Chief Colbert chapter in the semiquincentennial anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776, on this date, June 15, 2026, honor and celebrate our enduring American heritage. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Brian Van Devender, commend this commemoration to all our Sheffield and Colbert County, Alabama residents. Do we have? I know Tracy's not here. She said she wasn't going to make it. Do we have anybody else from DR? No. All right. Number one, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that a vacancy be and is hereby approved in the fire department. Yes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that Kashisa Gill be and is hereby employed as a police officer in the police department. Noting that we did verify that civil service, since the head of our civil service board is her husband, that he did recuse himself from those proceedings in any of the interview process in that, right? And it's also, and that's noted in the minutes of that meeting. Yeah. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that Ronald Brigham be and is hereby employed as police officer in the police department. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that a donation in the amount of $500 be and is hereby approved to Colbert County Animal Control for a wellness event on August 11, 2026. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that a donation in the amount of $2,000 be and is hereby approved to the Muscle Shoals Meets the 90s event here in Sheffield. Do I have a motion? Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that expenses in the amount of $36.98 be and are hereby approved for reimbursement to Janice Reichert for flowers and soil for planters at City Hall. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that expenses in the amount of $2,292.21 be and are hereby approved for reimbursement to Timothy Howell for mileage and training with the Alabama Association of School Resource Officers. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
That hard.
Yeah, back here.
I get confused over there too. I can't tell which one's which.
Oh.
Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that expenses in the amount of $1,745.93 be and are hereby approved for reimbursement to Thomas Bates for mileage and training in the Alabama Association of School Resource Officers. Now the motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that expenses in the amount of $2,900 are be and are hereby approved for the fee Intersol MS4 General Annual Report for our ADEM report. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that expenses in the amount of $1,250.25 be and are hereby approved for a Junkin Safety RSA-200 plastic splint stretcher for the fire department. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that the Hero Sheffield Center of the Shoals Strategic Communications Platform be and is hereby adopted as the city's coalition communications platform, and that the mayor be and is hereby authorized to approach the remaining 7 entities to participate. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that the mayor be and is hereby authorized to approach the city of Muscle Shoals regarding Shoals Gateway Development Corridor. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that the Sheffield Beauty Crew be and is hereby created within the street department, and that the mayor be and is hereby authorized to develop the job description and pay structure for the first position, which will be responsible for supervising our Alabama Department of Corrections inmates on the city's road cleanup program, and will initially report to the mayor and to advertise and post the position. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that the mayor be and is hereby authorized to build out and create the Sheffield Industrial Revenue Bond Board. A motion.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that expenses in the amount of $2,170 for a fan hub for truck 160 in the street department. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that expenses in the amount of $9.99 be and are hereby approved for reimbursement to Evelyn Richardson or Dreamhost for the Sheffield Library. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
A second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Yeah. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sheffield that a donation or an expense in the amount of $400 to $402.50 for an ad. Happy birthday, America! 250 years, proud to be an American. Times Daily advertisement. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Do we have anybody who wants to say anything? Okay.
I want to send for the council to thank the city for putting up a sign that says, this winter had adopted displays over in, Long Low. Wasn't really me. The city, the policeman, the, housing authority, and the mayor were responsible. That's the spirit.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? No?
Yeah, everything. That's where we go to the process.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I do have something, but it's just, yeah.
You go.
No. I just want to give a shout out to Arthur in the street department. Thursday night and Friday morning, I had several complaints from residents. And Arthur and the street department, they were all over it. So you guys are rock stars. Appreciate you.
You guys?
I've got something I will bring up. We've got some parks up there by the school. Got a lot of riffraff hanging around there. I don't know what we can do about it. We need to do something. At least get the riffraff out of there. Residents are calling me constantly, they're not happy. Got a lot of just unsavory characters walking around and all over the neighborhood at night. I really don't know where we can go with that.
Where is this? By the
Sheffield
school?
Point.
Oh.
It's the abandoned apartment complex across the street from the ball field.
Oh.
I'm sure Nine Oaks is probably in the same condition.
It has been, yeah.
It's in a foreclosure process, so I don't know really where we can go.
Mm.
Just a mess.
Any suggestions on that, other than?
We keep an eye out on it, but it comes and goes. I was on my way home yesterday and saw a guy. I don't know if he was coming from the street over, but I stopped to talk to him one day. So I don't know if he was coming from the actual park or cutting through the property. My guys aware of it, trying to keep control as we can.
I'll check with the building inspectors and see what the status is. I haven't in a while, so yeah.
I
I know this ain't gonna be a popular subject, but I'm bringing it up again. The rec board, or the rec department, putting it back, or not putting it back, but putting it under the mayor and council, and leave the board. I mean, I'm not saying do away with them, but leave them as an advisory board. But I'd like to be put on the agenda for the next meeting, July 6th. And for us to at least discuss it, see how everybody feels or stands on that proposal. Okay. Just, that's one of my things from day one, once I found out how that worked, I'd like to just see what our options are about it.
That's a good idea, because we need to be, the board needs to be, the Parks and Rec board needs to be transparent. So I think it'd be a healthy discussion.
Would you come prepared with some information as far as reasoning and whatnot? With that, okay. You two, Constance, come ready.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll put it on the agenda. So our next meeting is, it's the 6th, so it's after the holiday, so we won't need to reschedule that. Okay. All right.
Is anything happening in Sheffield for the holiday on July 4th, Saturday?
Oh. Well, the same organization that's doing the main firework display from the barge in the river, Mike Sell called today, and apparently they're going to be firing off some Civil War era cannons from the Sheffield side.
Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah. Okay.
And, which sounds pretty cool. So from Jimmy Holland's yard, maybe. Do we? Or, I mean, is that something? They're coming to my office this week, Thursday, I think.
Declare war on Florence. We have to shoot cannons across the road.
I was approached by the guy, he came up to the park as far as the noise and stuff, and I said, if it's shot here next time, it's fine, but I was more concerned. So he sent me a picture of it, when it blows out, he said he's been doing it for 19 years, and he's only had, one time well, they had straw in the field,
Oh, okay.
dry straw in it.
On fire. They're going to be doing it from Jimmy Holland's yard.
It's gonna be a problem, but we're gonna have to look into it, talk to him about it.
Okay, he is coming. I'll get with you on that. They're coming to my office to talk about it. And, just one. One down. Anything else? Keith, no, ladies. All right. Have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Really?
Yeah. Here, that's a long time ago. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Paper, they still do it. Yeah. I sat in the dining room, they still do it. Still do it. Maybe one or If you think. They know about I'm going to
That's what I.